Hello everyone. Today we are joined by Hemanth. Hi Hemanth.
Hello, Achintya. Thank you for having me here.
It was a great pleasure having you on board. So, I want you to introduce yourself.
Yeah, myself, Hemanth Jenukal, and I am an international swimmer. I've got around 35 national medals. I have national records. I've been to international levels. So yeah, that's a little brief introduction about myself.
Okay. So you said you had like a very different start to swimming, like your swimming journey. So I want you to share that experience. How did you start swimming and this journey?
Yeah, basically, I had this asthma. I'm actually asthmatic patient. So I have this blockage in my lungs and all. I used to get it when I was small. So I think somebody advised me. I don't know how I don't know how I got it, but somebody advised me to start swimming. So then, yeah, because of that, that is why I started swimming. Initially, it was only for health reasons. I just wanted to be healthy. But later on, it went on to be a bigger passion, a bigger dream and stuff.
Yeah. So I saw that you have spread your legs across backstroke, freestyle, and IM even. So like that you are pursuing them at a national and international level. So having that accuracy and I guess it's more of a hold over all those four strokes. Uh, Displaying that to at an international level. So how do you do that? Practice all that different strokes and different distances, and then put them up at major international events.
Uh, when I started swimming all four strokes. So even when I did my first national, I started as an IMR, individual medley. That is my main event till today and on first day itself when I started swimming. So it was not that difficult for me to adapt to other strokes. It was fine. I usually used to swim 4 on IM and 2 on IM. So I have my national records in those events. So I just wanted to try different events every time because I'm somebody who gets easily bored of things. So then, but I love the sport. So I want to continue the sport. So I have to find my ways. So what I did was I tried 200 back, I did 100 back, I did 50 back, then I did fly. Right now I'm doing 200 fly. So it is you have to explore. No, when you're in a sport, it's all about what you. At the end of the day, what matters is what you love, how much you love the sport. So and the love increases for the sport by exploring itself. So I would like to swim all the events that's there in the swimming. I've actually done all the events. So this, open waters, all that, I want to try once. It's good to try.
Uh, got it. So, like, you had an exposure, at various national meets. You attended the international meets as well. So, was there any like a very big jump between those two levels? Because people say, I this was my first national or this was my first international, so I couldn't perform. And like, what according to you is that huge jump or difference between these two? Uh, competitions, and people tend to mess up their events at their first meet like this.
There will be difference, and I wouldn't call it huge as such. As much as if you are that mentally, if you are strong enough, I don't think that should matter. But yeah, like if I can give you my example, my first national was 2012 in Gujarat. So in when I got my state medal, I got a gold in 200 freestyle, and I was selected for national. And when I went to national, I swam the event. But if I had given the time which I gave in state level, I would have gotten a gold medal. Like I would have got a gold medal in national itself. But I went above by 10 seconds, and I came in fourth or fifth. So yeah, maybe it was my first national. So, but later on, I got set. I have been to what 6 to 7 nationals and all. So when I went to my international meet, it wasn't. I didn't feel that pressure as such because I had experienced the sport. I know how the competition works. I had the fear, I had the pressure, but we should find our way to convert it into our performance. The pressure we get should be converted into bettering our performance itself. When I saw my mate in Indonesia, I was more than having the pressure. I was so happy that I'm swimming in such a good pool, indoor pool. I saw my mate in the pool, whichever the Asian Games happened. It was the same pool. So I was so excited. I was so excited to swim. I didn't feel the pressure at all. I did my personal best in that meet, and I clocked. I was sixth. I was the youngest swimmer to swim that meet. Actually, I was the youngest swimmer, and I came in sixth. So it was really. I enjoyed my international. I enjoyed it.
So
Pressure, it was fine.
it's not just about swimming, that competition, but there's a lot of other aspects that come into play. Like people, some people say, like I perform better at my home ground because I have that weather. I'm acclimatized to that weather. The food and other aspects that when you are swimming at a different place, different city, you have to get used to that weather, the atmosphere, the time zones, and people say that I'm not very comfortable and getting used to that place. So how do you tackle that part as well?
As we all know, swimming is a weather-driven sport because as we swim in water, the outside weather also matters a lot. Like for example, if we swim in Kolkata, the pool temperature will be around 25 to 30 degrees. But if I swim in Bangalore, the pool temperature differs. It comes around to 15 to 18 degrees. So there will be slight changes. So for that, what I think everybody will know, what we do is we go to that place 3 days back or 2 days before, and we get set to the water. We swim some workouts in the pool which we'll race. We swim some LT sets, VO2 sets, and we get set to the water. We'll look at the feel. We'll see how the water feels, and we'll see how the outside temperature is. Ultimately, you have to get set because you can't expect to go and train wherever the meet happens, right? Like if the meet is happening in Tokyo, not everybody can go and train in Tokyo. So it matters. It obviously matters. But yeah, ultimately it's all here. If you think you can do it, you can do it.
So well, like I want you to mention one most cherished moment in your swimming journey.
My most cherished moment would be my national record. When I got my first national record, it was in 2 and IM. So I've won many golds. I've won many golds in national level. But the happiness you get when you beat a record, no, that's very different. It has very small difference there. Gold and record is very small difference, but for us, when a person who's doing it, no, it's a huge thing. When you get a record, that congrats, that that whatever the gratitude you get or the feel you'll be in different level at all. I still remember it like yesterday. All my national records, it might be in 2 and I am 4 and I am or the relay records. Damn, they are the best.
Okay. So mention one worst phase or moment in your swimming journey. I guess every swimmer has one.
Yeah, it will be there. For me, I would say the moment which I'm having now is the worst. It is the COVID times we are having. I started swimming 10 years back, and this is my first summer holiday, or in 2020 was my first summer holiday or first break from swimming. And I went into some injuries also. I had the shin split because as I was doing fitness outside, I used to run and all. I got the shin splits, and I couldn't get off bed for 2 weeks. Too much pain in legs and all. So I put on weight. I lost my form. So COVID time is my worst phase. I just wanna go to pool and swim for one whole year and experience that feel. But right now, if we swim for 2 months again, we'll have 2 months lockdown. So not getting that actual amount of required training we need.
Let's hope for the best that the third wave doesn't come and we continue swimming.
Yes, for sure. I'm done with this. I want to swim anymore.
Okay.
I want no fake love, I want the real stuff. Everybody listen up, cause I'll only say it once. I'm gonna show you all the path. If you want it bad, I'm gonna show you where it's at. Yeah, how
So like you have been around the sport of swimming for such a long time. So and have experienced kind of changes in the sport because 2000, prior to 2008 and 2010 there was a different kind of sport, like the swimming was different, and then just 2012 around the Olympics the sport took a different turn. There's a lot of gadgets, there was changes in swimsuits. Prior to in the 2008 Olympics as well, we had that full body swimsuit, and soon it got banned from by the FINA. So like what are some of the challenges that you feel will the next generation, like now is 2021, so the post COVID, swimmers will face in terms of swimming and its regulations or changes that comes?
Yeah, it's well known that change is a constant. Without change, there's nothing. So yeah, when I started swimming until today, there are a lot of changes. Like when I used to do my sub juniors and juniors, we didn't have that much of international exposure as such. But right now, if you get a gold in your national in juniors or sub juniors, you get many international meets. It might be SAC games, SAF games, or Asian age group. I don't remember swimming all those meets at all because when even I've got my goals, right, like I never got even heard these names when I was in my age group. So as the international exposure increases, the frequency of the event or the type of swimming you see is different. And because of social media too, right now we can sit here and Google and see check what workout Adam Petit does and all. So obviously there's a huge change, and this is I would, as even Hari went did a haircut, Sergeant Prakash did a haircut. So I would say, I would actually tell this phase as the big change phase. We got our first haircuts. That's a very big thing for Indian swimming. So yeah, this is a changing phase, and coming up on swimmers would have to, be very competitive for medals and all anymore. Everybody have to, like, till now we were aiming for that A cut. So now that A cut is broken. So right now, the next thing we have to aim is then Olympic medal. So when you're aiming for Olympic medal, it's a very big thing. That's like the dream of every swimmer. Olympics is the dream for every swimmer. So the kids who start anymore have to come to the pool with the dream of Olympic medal, not a national or international. That phase is gone. We have to come here with Olympic medal dream and just go for it. That kind of dedication is needed for the upcoming generation.
But I feel like there has been a huge gap in terms of practicing because of the COVID. So and also swimming has been not just swimming, even in the Olympics. There's this topic of mental health, and I feel with the COVID there's a lot of issues with both athletes as well as normal people about mental health. So how do you feel like the coming generations or like the continuing generations will deal with this two aspects of swimming? Because mentally you need to have prepare, get well, or be prepared for facing any challenge or anything that comes on your way. And the second is like practicing. You lost almost 2.5 2 years, okay, not 2.5 2 years. But as Michael Phelps says, like if you miss one practice, you are actually moving behind by 2 days. So 2 years means actually you are moving behind by 4 years. So how are you like how are the swimmers going to cope up with that?
Yeah, this is a very tough thing. Mental health is a very important thing. I would like to stress on it because right now, COVID, no, everybody were kind of, because of quarantine and stuff, they were locked in these four walls. Human is a social animal. So he doesn't have that habit of staying in one place for a long time. He needs to socialize. He needs to go out. He needs to meet people. He likes to party. He likes to eat food outside in restaurant. Like he has his own ways. So when you put him in a single place, right, his mental health drops. He becomes weaker and weaker mentally. Physically, it's another aspect. As we are stressing upon this mental health, I would like to put up this way, like, yeah, it is very tough. So upcoming generations, I just hope they don't have to deal with anything kind of COVID and all. I would be let this end it. Let this be over for us itself. I don't want the upcoming people to do that. So for them, if there's no lockdown as such, so it shouldn't matter. But this was a very tough phase. Even I had issues with myself mentally. I went into kind of stage one depression and all. But because it is, as I told you, I've never been inside my house for last 10 years. Morning if I swim, evening I'll swim, then again afternoon I'll go to gym or college or school. I don't have this habit sitting at my home or sitting at single place. But it was mandatory, and it's not only the swimmers, it has happened for everybody, it has affected everyone. So yeah, I would ultimately I can tell is I just hope this gets over sooner and everything will be back to normal. And upcoming swimmers, I just don't want them to go through this, just not at all.
And what about the practice part? Like, I feel like, swimming in the water is something very different. And even like people say, I'm doing, gym or CrossFit or stuffs on the dry land, but that's not like a replacement to water. Water is a whole different medium of, like medium where you swim, and that cannot be experienced anyway in the dry land or any kind of exercises. So what are the ways that swimmers can deal with that as well?
Yeah, as of now, we have very less options. Even gyms were closed. So
Yeah.
the only option we had was to do workout in our houses. So, and yeah, so as you mentioned it, we have for example, endurance. Water endurance and land endurance differs. Even if you run for 10 kilometers, with that same amount of endurance, you can't swim 1 kilometer,
Yeah.
because the water endurance it's a lot. You can't work as much as what is needed in water. We can't do it outside. All we can do is adjust or compromise ourselves by doing the workouts what we do, and keep ourselves fit, trying to keep ourselves fit and stuff. That's the only option. There's no substitute for swimming training at all. You have to go get in the water and do your workout. There's no other substitute at all. Just for fitness, you have to work out outside.
So, like, what are some of your goals moving ahead with your swimming journey?
Yeah, my goal is obviously a senior national medal anymore. Initially, I mean, first step, because as soon as I entered seniors, I did one seniors and I didn't get a medal. But after that, I didn't even get a second chance because of this COVID. Last 2 years the meet didn't happen, so I just entered senior level 2. So I want a senior national medal anymore. After that, I want to aim for bigger ones. It might be Asians or Commonwealth, and obviously Olympics. Olympics is ultimate goal.
Great. All the very best for your competitions ahead. I guess the Asian Games is scheduled for the next year itself, so it's in a very short notice. And the national is already dated from 20 last week of October, so you have very short time to prepare yourself.
A very short time, yeah.
Okay, it was great speaking to you about all these things, and I guess mental health and is a very big issue, and athletes cannot be take that lightly, things like that, because it ultimately will somehow reflect on their performance in the pool, because mentally you need to be strong, and because day by day competition is increasing, so physical aspect can take you somewhere, but you have to be mentally prepared to some extent, to face that competition or face that challenge in whatever field you are doing. So I guess you have to be because there's also this thing of mental preparation before you go into the race, the visualization race, which we call. So that will be getting affected if you are not mentally healthy, and I guess swimmers need to deal with that with their own ways and own stuffs. And it was great having your experience of having the nationals and international meets to your profile, and how to tackle your first or second international meets and not messing up your events.
Yeah, thank you, Achintya, for having me here. And I'm actually happy that you stressed on the mental health part, because it is very much needed for this generation. It is very much needed, because people think mental health as a joke. If when you have actually a shoulder pain or leg pain, that is considered more bigger, in a bigger way than the mental health. Mental health has to be taken into consideration anymore. So yeah, thank you for stressing upon that.
Okay, no issue. Thank you. Bye.
Bye, bro. Bye.